All right.
Okay, let's go. Like, what
Wacko Swami.
E-money? Let's get on this bullshit. All right.
Okay, so
So
Eddie, you haven't watched Cuties, right?
no, and I never will.
Yeah, because you're not a pedophile. Good. I'm glad to hear that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So I also so here's the thing. People have been taking hot takes and not watching it, and people are like, you can't say anything if you haven't watched. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can have an opinion on something.
I mean,
Well, no,
if you give me a synopsis,
I can have an opinion on something without actually knowing anything about it.
here's the thing though. I can have an opinion when I know the synopsis of it.
There we go.
Let me ask you. Okay, here's my thing. Is
like, I didn't experience the Holocaust, but I have an opinion about it. I think it was kind of.
well, I'm not supposed to. You weren't there, so be quiet. It's in the history books. I didn't choose to put it in the history books. You know who did? The winners. But like
we're gonna have a whole podcast about how history is written by the winners, and
you know what's funny? Avatar is gonna be brought up in that podcast, right?
That, and also it's gonna be after this election, because this election is also, yes, it's good to have a hot take about that shit. I don't know who's gonna win, but like whoever wins,
I feel like damned if we do, damned if we don't anyway. So
of course, but still, it's gonna be funny. But yeah, this is one of those things where I'm just like, here's my thing. I've listened to so many reviews about it, and I've heard like there's three main camps in how people interpret it. There's the gross, should never exist. Pedophiles are going to watch this. Pedophiles are going to do gross stuff to this.
Oh my God. Again, in the immortal words of Hojo, this is my
gonna be gross. There's the camp of like, while I don't think we should ever decide on whether or not something should exist, on whether or not bad people are going to use it for bad things. I do see that this is kind of sus, and I do feel like this message could have been conveyed without having to, sexualize children. And then there's the people, I don't know why people want to cancel this. This is art. It has a message. Because it has a message, it's okay to do all this.
No, I need to hear the message.
It's just like, if
the message.
If something has a message, then it's okay to. So, Eddie, did you know that if you wanted to say murder is bad, you could film a murder happening and go like, that's art, and it justifies that. Did you know that?
Oh. I'm pretty sure that's not how life works.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're saying all these people are wrong. You can't say that.
But here's the thing. I don't care if they care that I say that they're wrong. They're wrong. Like if me saying that you're wrong, you take that as offensive. Good. It's conversation. Let's talk about why you're wrong. No. We're not gonna discuss your opinions. We're discussing why you're wrong.
Oh my God.
Wrong. And that's my opinion.
See, because I think I lean more towards the middle. I don't think we should ever make anything with the intent of like, oh, I hope no one uses this for lascivious purposes. Like, if they do, then I don't think I should have made this. Like, I don't think we should ever make something with the express purpose of just like, oh, I don't want bad people to be able to watch this and use it for bad. Like, no, make something, try to put your ideas out there and put it in the marketplace of ideas. Like, we need more diversity in the marketplace of ideas. I enjoy that so much. I already told you guys how I love perspective. I love everyone's perspective. And even this is a unique story of a woman who's telling her story as a young girl growing up in a culture where women were not even women, young girls are continuously over-sexualized. Like, I get that. That's a great story. That's something you could tell. The one aspect I never hear anyone talk about, though, is how they could have just done this with animation. It's like, you wouldn't have had to take actual girls who may look back on this in 5-10 years, go like, oh wow, when I was 12, I made a video of me twerking, and that's on the internet for everyone to see.
Forever. My child can look that up.
Exactly. Like, so instead of doing that, we could have, like, perfect example. South Park did an episode about the Jonas Brothers, right? So in this episode about the Jonas Brothers, they basically talked about how Disney was using the Jonas Brothers to sell sex to little girls.
I remember that.
They had little girls.
Weren't they using like purity rings?
Yes, so that the parents wouldn't know that they were trying to sex the little girl.
God damn that show.
They had little girls talking about, oh, when I watch the Jonas Brothers, my giny tickles. And the little girls be
gross.
Twerking on.
Gross.
But no, parents' groups weren't up in arms about that one because it wasn't actual little, it was cartoon cutouts. So they were still able to get that story across, still get that narrative across without having to actually sexualize young girls. It was a cartoon and everyone understood like it was a joke and it was measured. So I feel like for once, like not even for once again, the medium of animation was overlooked as a venue to tell a story to adults and children alike, because it's always, oh no, this is for kids. So I feel like that's something that's often overlooked, and that's something that they could have done to maybe avoid a lot of this backlash, but they didn't do that. But I don't know. But like, what are you like? From all the stuff you've heard, what is your 2 cents on this one?
Here's my thing. Like when I first heard about it, I kind of had the thought process like, you know, I'm not gonna follow. I'm not gonna look into this. But I just well, for one, I didn't really care. I was like this. I like, as far as I'm concerned, this is just gonna be one of those bad Netflix movies. But then when I found out, because I just heard, oh, Cuties, okay, cool. It's like, oh, it's a kids movie. It's not a kids movie when you have little girls, 12, and any child twerking on the internet under the age of 18 is unnecessary. To be fair, twerking is unnecessary, but it has necessities.
You know that's our fault, right? You get that, right?
I didn't do jack shit.
That's our culture, specifically, our African culture. Yes.
Okay, no.
Not even black. I'm talking about like us, like African.
No. Let's break the difference up on that first. Okay. Where did that originate before you start saying it's our fault? No. The purpose.
What do you mean the purpose?
Was it just twerking or was it tribal dancing?
I'm okay.
Because you can't compare the two and say like, oh, it's our fault. We made it. Okay, cool. Why did we make it again? Was it solely to just have somebody out there shaking their ass?
Well, now you're getting into that whole argument of like, is it the message or does the message take precedent over the idea of something? And like we just said, it's just like so the original intent was like, as it's a cultural thing. It's to maybe to honor, to show praise towards, like it was meant for ceremonial purposes.
Thank you. Yes.
But it doesn't really matter if you to the human brain, if they see the hips, and when you like the human brain immediately associates female hips to child rearing and, you know, procreation. So it doesn't matter what your intent is when my brain is looking at this and going like, that's where babies come from. And that's where I say,
oh my God.
Just like, so it's one of those things. It's just like that. You're right. That wasn't the original intent of the dancing, and it was taken and made more provocative than it actually is, which there's a deeper dive that we can partake in at that point when both of us have degrees in sociology.
So never.
Exactly. It's just like, I'm not equipped to fully tackle that one. That's an interesting conversation about how human beings can take something that's ceremonial and turn it sexual or something like that.
Or deviant.
It's not like it's just Americans who do that. That's just human beings in general. We're like, no one's guilty of over-sexualizing something that should be meant for something else. Like, an example of that I don't think is, well, there are tribes in different isolated island nations that make the kids have sex with older women or older adults, and it's mostly to be for like, oh, so you have experience for when you're our age and you want to, cultural relativism. We're gonna have a podcast on that too.
Now we're starting to get into heavy shit because I see where you're coming from in that regard. Of can you really say that's wrong on their end when that is actually part of their culture?
Yeah. So
Morally, from a standpoint, if you mix your morals in with it, it can be seen as wrong.
yeah.
But if you're seeing it from their standpoint and mixing their morals into it, not as much.
Yeah.
But if we use American morals to judge this movie, how
strictly from the context of like Western, like a Western
if we're
view.
speaking just purely from Western context for this movie, how would it averagely be judged?
Yeah, as child porn, easy.
That's all I need to know. And you know what's crazy thing is too, and it's true, but crazy thing is if you added 10 years to every single girl in that movie, if instead of them being like 10 and 12, they were like 22 and 21, we'd be having a completely different conversation.
Oh, of course.
Wholeheartedly different conversation.
The conversation would be like the conversation we had about the WAP music video. We just be looking into the camera and just
now,
being like,
sir, that was art.
There'd be no talk of like, oh, this is morally reprehensible. No, the only talk would be like, bruh, that ass is fire.
That was the portrayal of just the beauty of the female race, and it watching that video made me realize men are fucking ugly compared to females. Females are beautiful in multiple different ways. It's insane. Like, watch out, just like, God, you can be more than just cute in the face. You can. You can have more than just an
what kind of swamp trolls are you looking at that is just like what, like you just realized
that video. Like, I watched that video like 3 or 4 times.
Kissers are you looking at? I know we live in the South, but it's not that. Show our Southern queen some love.
Damn, is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal on Sunday.